Hello.
Hi.
There you are. And how is Sarah today?
Fine. And you?
Oh, you know what? This is one of those days where I just wish I could just relax.
I hope you're okay.
Oh, I'm okay. I just been a long week. You
Yeah,
ever had that?
yeah, I know. Long
Yeah,
week, it means too many things to do.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, for sure. Well, welcome to today's class. I think we just scared Joseph away.
Yeah, yeah, he coming back.
Oh, he's back. Hi, Joseph. Goodbye, Joseph. Thanks for coming. See you next time.
Mm, okay.
All right, so it's a class of one then.
Welcome, Joseph.
Well, I'm wondering what we can do in class today. I thought about we can give an overview of what to do in speaking, but then I thought maybe we can divide you guys into groups. One of you could represent a company, and the other can represent a press. And you have to practice answering questions. But I'm not sure if we're going to do that or maybe something else.
Yeah,
We'll
maybe.
Hi
see.
teacher, can you hear me?
Well, you're back. Joseph, you're back.
Something is wrong with my computer. I don't know, I see my picture much larger than usual.
Well, then I would log onto your bank account, and maybe your bank account will be much bigger than usual too.
Listen,
Maybe.
I think it's a new update, and my picture is big because I see when I see it, it's big, but another people see it small. So I think it's okay. No need to go out.
Stay with us,
Oh,
please. Don't run.
oh I can try again, teacher, to see what happens with my picture.
You do
No, it's
that?
okay.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Behave. All
Okay,
right,
okay,
guys.
teacher.
It's just the two of us right now, three of us. But let's talk about public speaking because I want us to have a little bit of fun later.
I wanted something, teacher.
Well, I'm glad you want something, but let's talk
Let's
about
start.
the
Okay,
lesson, okay?
okay.
What do you think is one of the most important things when you're speaking in public? What should you do? What could that be? What do you think is one of the most important things we might need to do in public speaking?
I don't ask them about something private for them.
Nope, it's
Something
got
best.
nothing to do with that. We're talking about public speaking. So we're speaking at a company event, speaking to people within our company, right? Or
Uh-huh.
maybe talking to the press. So you would obviously not do anything like that because it's not a personal thing. This is business.
In,
Okay?
in in only business, in public speaking, in only company, maybe in university.
Yeah, you could. What I'm trying to say is, what might you do to help get ready or prepare? Because you see some people and they will talk like this. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I'm going to talk to you about um, cars in the 20th century and their impact, technology in the 21st century and their impact on cars. Okay.
I guess. I think the first thing I should to see people who I talk with them.
Well, yeah, you do need to know your audience, and this is very important. You've got to know who you'll be speaking to.
Yeah.
So you're my students. I know I'm speaking to you, and I know that you're ESL students, so I know I shouldn't speak too fast.
Mm,
Okay? So know your audience, know their expectations.
okay.
This sounds so obvious, but too often we are more concerned with what we have to present than to whom. Okay?
Okay.
Very important. Know your audience, guys. It's very important. And it will make presenting easier.
I think you have to be calm and develop your ideas clearly.
Okay, very good. Yeah, you do have to be calm, but being calm doesn't come naturally. What can you do to become calm? What will help you become calm?
For me, what helps me to be calm is knowing much what I'm talking about.
Oh, let me stop you there. You guys hear what he just said? You got to know what you're talking about. I'm still in the dark here. Let me bring the podium into the light. Ow, I just stepped on a wrench. Don't step on one of these, it hurts. Okay, so yeah, essentially what you're talking about is know your subject and be prepared, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It might sound, again, obvious, but a lot of us, we know we're going to have to present on, let's say, technology and its relation to cars. Okay, we know what technology is, we know what cars are, so we have to present that. So we'll do some homework, we'll research, and we'll write out a speech. Okay, that's not enough. You can't just write out a speech and do some research. I'm going to pick on Randy, who just snuck into class. Randy, how do we prepare for something like a speech? We do our research, true. We write out a speech, but what else should we do?
Hi Simon, hi everyone. For me, we should do make some training for doing our presentation.
Yeah.
We can, for example, we can repeat it in front of the mirror.
Guys, what Randy said is very, very important. Rehearse. Rehearse means we practice. We practice the speech several times. And the mirror is good because you get to see your presentation. However, now that we all have smartphones, what I would suggest is record your presentation. Right? Record. Everybody has a camera. So record your video. Practice. To the point where you don't really need to look at your speech. If it's a long speech, you'll be practicing for a long time. You see, if you know what you're talking about, you're not going to forget what you have to say. You'll look prepared. And here's a strange thing, guys. If you look prepared, people are willing to trust you more. So you just heard me a little bit talk about cars and technology and how my head was looking down and I didn't seem prepared. Now let me try that a little differently. Thank you everybody for joining me here today. I'm going to talk to you about a subject that interests many of us, and that is technology and cars. More specifically, how technology has played a huge role in the development of cars in the 20th century, and what that means for us today. You see, I was more confident. I was able to look directly into you guys, or look directly into the camera, but look directly at you guys. Which was more interesting, Raphael?
About speeches, about...
Which two speeches? The one where I was looking down earlier in the class, or the one I just gave?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Which speech was better? The one where I was looking down, or the one where I was looking directly ahead?
I think you have to enumerate topics in order to prepare for your speech, but I don't really 100% agree with you have just said. You said that we must record a video of our speech.
No, I didn't say you must. Never said must.
The second one.
Okay. Yeah, the second one, and the question was, which speech was better? Yeah, the second one I was more prepared. I made eye contact, and I knew what I was talking about. So let's go back to Raphael, what he said, that he doesn't agree with me. You don't have to record a video. You don't. You don't have to prepare a lot either. These are tools that you can use in giving a presentation. Now, if you happen to have worked for 40 years, well, not 40 years, let's say you've worked 20 years as a mining geologist, and you know everything there is to know about gold and how to pull gold out of the ground, out of rock, you probably don't have to do a lot of preparation. You know this better than any book, right? So you have the knowledge. However, the older we get, the more we sometimes forget our thoughts. You still need to prepare it. You still need to write it down. And you need to time it. There will be an agenda. You have a certain amount of time to speak, and unless you go through and do a practice run, you don't know how long it's going to take. So taking a video is very, very helpful. What the video will do is show how relaxed you are. It also shows if you're stiff. In video, if you don't move much, it looks very weird. Right? But if you're ever with your friends, you'll notice your friends don't move a lot. They might nod or say yes, but they don't move like people on TV do. People on TV will move their head a lot like I'm doing now.
No.
More unnaturally than you may think. Okay? So, Raphael, video is a tool to help you notice any habits you're doing. If I say or ah, you can see how many times I've said that.
Yes, it can help you.
Yeah.
To improve your language skills also.
Yes.
For example, with English.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you have to do it, but it can certainly help. Okay. Let's see. We've got a full class now. Everybody's kind of snuck in late. What else do you think is important if you're speaking in public? Somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Barbara, David, Jared.
Okay, hi everyone. From my point of view, I think it's not a matter of tell a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to say that it's a question of making some pauses and control your speed when you are speaking.
Excellent. Have you done a lot of public speaking?
Not
Okay.
too much.
That's actually very important. Pausing. Using a relaxed tone, not speaking too fast. Emphasis. These are very important. So when I say pause, I don't mean wait 5 seconds. But as you hear me speaking, you'll notice I have pauses after sentences. Or sometimes, like then, I paused for dramatic effect. Pausing can be very helpful. I'm sure you guys are aware that, or that you've heard people speak, and they speak very fast. There's no break. Yeah, like speaking like this, if I was talking about pausing, pausing is a great tool. Speak fast, and people will get bored and lose interest. Stutter too much, they'll also lose interest. Speak slowly, and they'll stay focused to every word you speak. David, was that too fast?
Maybe. I'd say yes.
Was it hard to
Yeah.
follow?
Yeah. Very hard to follow.
Yeah. And guys, it doesn't matter that you're ESL students. Native speakers, when you're speaking, if you speak too fast, they get bored, they lose interest. It becomes confusing. We humans are very good at remembering 3 things at once. Overload us with too much information, and we start to forget things. Okay? All right, so another student earlier said, don't give too much information. It's like a well-written essay. You have a point you want to convey. Make sure that point is clear, and always come back to that point. So let me read that same sentence using pausing and emphasis, and we'll look at the difference. So again, related to pausing, this is a great tool. Speak fast, and people will get bored and lose interest. But if you stutter too much, they will also lose interest. Speak slowly, and they will stay focused on every word you say.
Can I say something?
You just did. Would you like to say something else? Go ahead, please.
Talking slowly, sometimes it's make people boring and lost what you want to say. So it's not fast,
Yes.
not as slowly, but in between them, in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to speak too slowly. So here's an example of speaking slowly and how people will tend to fall asleep. Pausing. This is a great tool. Speak fast, and people will get bored and lose interest. Stutter too much, and they will lose interest. Speak slowly, and they will stay focused on every word you say. So you'll notice there that my tone was flat and slow.
I think, teacher, you also, in the words that you said, you didn't have any emotion.
Yes, you're right.
So, it makes me lose the interest.
Right. You were correct. There wasn't any emotion. Now, I said I spoke at more or less a flat level. No intonation. Designed in a way that it's very boring. So remember what I said is the use of pausing, emphasis, right? That's where we take a certain word and we focus on a certain part of that word and we add a little bit of volume to it, right? So interest or interest, bored, focused instead of focused. What you're doing is you're making sure people pay attention to certain words you say. Right?
Well, it's mean that the voice how up and down.
Yeah, a fancy word is called amplitude, but yes, raising the level of your volume.
I want the word. What's it called that when I'm making voice up and down?
Well, we generally, in English, we call it emphasis. So let me find a sentence here. Okay, so let me read this sentence to you in a normal tone. Treat your audience as if they are your friends. Smile, interject humor. Sorry, smile, interject humor into your sentences. Okay, normal tone, not too boring, but now listen as I add emphasis. Okay, treat your audience as if they are your friends. Smile, interject humor into your sentences.
Yeah.
Right?
Different.
Yeah, you're adding emphasis, and what you're usually doing, and I teach a class on this, but you're taking certain vowels within a sentence and you're raising your volume. Right? Audience, audience.
Okay, let me see something.
You want to say something?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
I think if you talking with a native speaker, the same your language, if you speak fast, no, it's okay. But if you teach a new language for foreign people, you have to teach slowly or speaking slow. You can understand what you say. And when you're talking, I think some move it to help you, like hand and voice up or down, and moving your hand. If you want
All right.
move your hand, maybe some people lost your words.
All right. What do you guys think? Sorry, your name is? Gentleman just speaking. What's your name? The gentleman who's just speaking. What's your name, please?
Obeyed, I think.
Obed, yes.
Obed.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I can't see who's speaking. So, what do you guys think about what Obed just said?
Mm,
I think no.
Really?
Yeah,
Why
because
do you
I
think
wanted
no?
I wanted to learn the language in natural. It's in the same way they talk. I want it, not to any change. No problem with this, a little slowly, but I wanted the same to get the same accent and the way
Okay.
to talk.
Sarah.
uh,
I'm going to be blunt here, but I believe you're wrong, and may I explain why?
Okay.
Okay. So, I said earlier, know your audience. Now, when you're learning a new language, if we speak at normal speed, it's hard to comprehend what's being said. People just starting off, and Sarah, you're an advanced speaker, okay? But somebody who's just learning, I mean, look at you guys. When you were babies, your parents didn't just talk to you like this. They would say, Dada, Mama, in your own language, of course, but they always spoke to you in small, short sentences, and they spoke slowly.
Okay.
So it really helps to know your language, or so know your audience. So in my case, most of you guys are either advanced or intermediate, and that's the level that I teach at. I know this. I still try to talk a little slower because I want to make sure those who are intermediate do understand what I say. I don't talk this way at work. In fact, sometimes, as Obed said, I will talk very fast in groups of friends, but not when I'm speaking in a presentation.
Teacher,
You never want to speak too fast in a presentation.
Teacher, can you show us when you talk to friends your
Okay.
your speed?
All right. Let's see here. Ahmed,
Yes, sir.
I know your English is very advanced, so would
No,
you...
not at all, no.
Okay. Well, I won't put pressure on you. I would like a student who has a very advanced English, who understands people when they speak fast, so I can have a conversation with you as I would a friend. Who would like to volunteer?
I can talk to
maybe?
you.
Okay, and who are you, please?
I'm Joseph.
Joseph. And I apologize, guys. I don't mean to be rude, but on my screen I have no way of knowing who is speaking, and there's so many of you in here, I don't want to assume it's you or not. And Joseph, your connection is very clear today.
Yes.
All right.
Because
Let's begin. Hey, Joseph, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Simon. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to go out to see a movie tonight with my wife. Have you seen the new Spider-Man movie?
Oh, I haven't seen yet. Did you see it?
Oh no, no. I can't wait to see this movie. Apparently, the special effects are amazing. It's a huge, big budget movie, and the reviews so far are pretty good.
Well, I would try to see it next week, maybe.
Next week? No, come on. Why don't you come with us this weekend? We're going to go see it now.
No, I don't have money now.
Oh, Hitler, I'll treat you. I'll treat you. I owe you one anyhow.
Okay,
But-
let's go.
Yeah, come over. We'll have a barbecue afterwards. We'll enjoy the movie. It'll be fun.
Yes, that will be okay. I like barbecue. I like
you.
meat.
It's not comfortable, this dialogue.
Well, but sometimes we do talk that way. You do
Yeah.
in your own language when you're excited, when you're happy. Now, imagine, just a minute, guys. I'm going to get comfortable here. My apologies if it seems like I'm too relaxed. So here I am. I'm at home. I'm sitting by the couch. I'm on the floor. I'm relaxed. My same friend is over here with me.
Teacher,
And
I want to ask someone questions, please.
could you wait a sec? I just want to show an example, and then you can ask me a question.
Okay.
All right. So, Sarah,
Yes.
you seem nervous.
I'm not mean comfortable the way you are. No, it's mean that the talk a lot. I'm lost. I cannot knowing what you are saying. I got one. I lost one.
Was I talking too fast earlier?
Not too much, but there's some detail I cannot get it.
Okay, well, don't worry about that. So, let's say you or one of my friends was over, and we're just relaxing, maybe having a nice cold beverage, watching TV. Talking this fast would be fine.
Simon, I think that you don't have to catch everything. You only have to catch important words to.
Well, you see, for
understand what
comprehension,
you-
that may work. For speed reading, that can work. But as you know in your own language, you generally do pick up on every word, right? As we learn a new language, it's different. You don't always pick up every word, but the more advanced you get, the more words you pick up, right?
Yeah.
It's true, you don't have to hear and understand every word to comprehend what we talk about. If you attend my academic English class, you can see that. But keep in mind, what I'm talking about here today is not necessarily for ESL students like yourselves, right? What I'm teaching you is something you can use in your native language as well as English. So I want us to be able to have a conversation in class here around public speaking. So I want to try and teach you guys other skills using English. So this class isn't so much about teaching you how to speak in English or teach you vocabulary or pronunciation. It's about tips and techniques for public speaking. And we just happen to be talking in English.
Okay.
All right? All right, let's go around the room. Now, somebody said they had some questions for me, and I said if you could just hold it for a minute. Go ahead, please, and your name.
Obeid.
Obeid, okay, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Teacher, really we have more vocabulary. As a student here, I think have more vocabulary, but we can't speak very fast.
Yeah.
What your advice is for us?
Well, if you want to speak faster, couple of things. It helps to speak English more often, or more often. You can do that with other advanced students. You can do that in private lessons, and you can do that with other English speakers. You just have to practice speaking more. But as you do that, you need to be mindful of your pronunciation. When we speak faster, our pronunciation is not as crisp and clear. So be careful. If you take my pronunciation class, which I usually teach twice a week, we practice with speed. And a lot of times when we speak fast, it's very hard to understand what we're saying. So I'll practice with students and I'll give them tongue twisters. When they go slower, everybody can understand them clearly. When we go faster, it's a lot harder to understand. So, number one, speak more. English students, advanced English students, native English speakers, there's various ways to do that. Okay. 2, continue to improve your pronunciation and take pronunciation classes. 3, take a lot of advanced classes here at Kalingo and participate in conversations. You guys might hear Sarah a lot. Sarah's always volunteering. She's practicing. Right? And I encourage all of you to do that. When I ask an open question, jump out, volunteer. Okay? You may not always be correct, but you need to practice more.
I have 5 maybe hour in this website or more to improve my English. Maybe 6 hour, I think.
Well, then you're probably helping to keep Verbling alive and successful as a company. Thank you.
Teacher, really we understand what you say, but we need a lot of time to respond for you. Response, we are responses very late. We can think by our language, then translate to English, then say it. This is, I think, this mistake.
This is normal.
Yes.
For example, if I want to speak in French, and I was upstairs a little while ago, and bear with me, because I want to show you what I was doing upstairs. I'm just going to go up and I'm going to grab my iPad. Let me put my, oh, I almost lost my laptop there. I'm going to put the podium back, and please just wait about 30 seconds.
Wow, teacher. Where are you going?
He wanted to go 30 seconds and coming back. So who wanted to talk?
Sorry guys, I'm back. So what I was doing earlier, and I was upstairs with my family.
Baby was crying.
Yeah, maybe. So let me go to Siri. Go to language. I'll pick French for a minute because I know a few more words in French. Please, Randy, don't make fun of me because I know my French isn't good. But so I was thinking, okay, how do I ask Siri questions in French? And they're like, weather. What's the weather?
Comment tu t'appelles?
Hold on. Oh, no, I forgot. Hold on a sec.
Ce soir?
Ce soir, for this evening, oh, yeah, here we go. Quel temps fait-il? So, my terrible French accent, but she understood me.
Oh my God.
Your accent is not very terrible.
So thank you as well. But I had to think. See how long it took me to think, and I knew how to say that. Right? And I know French more than any other language that I've been studying, but I'm on the spot. I'm more nervous. I've got a French speaker in the class. He must think, you are terrible.
No,
right?
not at all.
No, but you see, this is what we think as students, right?
If you are good,
Yeah,
you can speak even a little.
My point is, this is normal. When you're learning English, you're going to think in your own language, and then you're going to translate. So, how do you overcome that, right?
I use
know.
Google.
Sarah, give me a second, please. Let me finish. Okay. How do we overcome that? I'll tell you how. Practice. Spend a lot of time. If you guys have the time, 2 hours a day with English, either taking a class or talking with somebody. I wouldn't watch TV and movies because you're not practicing speaking. You need to practice speaking. If you have time, join me for my academic English classes. In academic English, here's what we do. I pick a story from a paper. We take turns reading it aloud. Okay, so you're reading, but the test is you must understand what we're talking about. So as you read and as you listen to other students, you need to understand. Then halfway through the class, we have a discussion.
Teacher? Excuse
Hold
me?
on. Guys, you got to let me finish my main point because otherwise I can't properly answer each of your questions. So that's very important. You've just got to spend lots of time learning. If you're going to learn 1 or 2 hours a week, you're not going to get there. You just have to speak it more and more frequently. Okay, now I'm ready for the next question.
But,
How many
but
o'clock in week?
Hold on, Sarah. Another gentleman had a question just before you, then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Teacher, what do you think? Is it much better to see movie or practice English?
Practice, practice. Here's the problem with the movie. It's visual. And turning subtitles on makes it worse. It does help with your listening skills, but it doesn't help with speaking or getting over that translation of what you want to say in your own language than saying it in English. Now, many years ago, my French was actually much better because I had spent years studying it, but I haven't used it. I live in an area where English is pretty well the only language you need. In fact, where I live, there's far more Chinese than there are French. So there's not a lot of need for French. I used to be able to understand a lot better and read the paper. And I didn't think in English before I said it in French. I'd think in French and go like, if I forgot the word, I'm thinking of the French word. I'm thinking French grammar.
I hate grammar. All cities here, I think they are hate grammars.
I hate grammar too.
I hate
Grammar
the grammar.
sucks. I won't lie to you. It's needed, but I hate it. Sarah, your question.
How many hours I need in week to be to practice English?
Well, the more the better. But if you can try and set a goal of 2 hours a day.
Okay. I take 6 hours.
Well,
Wow.
no, this is good. See, here's what you're trying to do, guys. You want to make it so you're using English a lot, and so you start to think in English. Right?
Yes.
It's a language. Your brain is wired for your native language, whether it be Arabic, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. And you speak very well in your own language. The only way you're going to learn a new language is if you force yourself to. You have to spend time at it. By nature, we're lazy. We choose the most efficient way to communicate. In this class, you have to speak English, right? Put yourself in situations where you have to speak English. Any other questions?
You can try to ask questions, maybe. You can try to ask questions to us.
Well, that's very good. That's what I said at the beginning of, well, not the beginning of class, but close to the beginning of class. Don't be silent. Now, I don't know if you guys are on some sort of special deal, whether you sign up on a monthly plan, whether you get 20 classes a month, but you're paying real money. And I'm amazed at how many students are trying to learn. They come into class, and they're always quiet. They don't start asking questions. You're listening, you're learning, but you're not learning as much as you could by participating. Don't worry about making mistakes. So if I ask a question, be the first to volunteer. Look at Sarah, she's always volunteering. I have to say, hold on, Sarah, let me ask another student. I mean, I would rather be able to say, Joseph, you're talking too much. Let me talk to David. Or Ahmed, stop talking, please. You know?
Teacher,
I'm here for an hour.
teacher, I think I don't talk too much. I talk only a few words. I need to talk more,
Yes, you do.
but I don't know what to talk about.
Well, that's perfect. You just said something right there. We're talking about presentations, right? In my next class, we're going to play games. Here's what's important about what I offer as a teacher. Each teacher has different strengths and weaknesses. For me, I focus on pronunciation. I focus on conversation. I'd like you guys to spend more than half of the class speaking. And I practice general conversation, and I like to talk about things that you guys can use on a daily basis, like presentations, small talk, debates.
Okay.
Or just say, hey, can we talk about this? We spent the last 50 minutes talking about things other than presentations. You guys are paying for the class. If you guys want to go off on a tangent, we can go off on a tangent.
I think for giving a good presentation, you need patience with your assistants because maybe one of the people who is asking for questions, maybe he is very impolite with you.
You said assistant, right?
I don't know how to say public.
Okay.
Your audience.
So let's look at the word audience and get a better understanding of what it means. And when audience, I'm going to go to the dictionary instead of give you what I believe audience means, right? Because even I have my own bias. So the dictionary looks at audience as an assembled group of spectators or listeners at a public event. Okay, so these are people that are assembled, they're watching or listening, and it's a public event. Now it can be a private event too, right? It's not just public, it's also a private, so I disagree with the dictionary there. It doesn't have to be a public event. You could actually be watching TV. You could be at a play, movie, speech. Right? And they're the people that will be listening to you. It's a good word because then you don't have to come up with other terms to describe everybody.
Yes.
Teacher?
Audience.
Yeah. Right, I hear another gentleman wanting to ask a question.
Teacher, do you think 2 hours by day of practice is perfect for increase your English?
Well, Sarah's doing 6. I mean, if you can do 3, all the better. But be careful. If you do too much, you might get bored. You might find it too much work. I think 2 is a good number. Give yourself a day off. You can try 3, but try 2. Maybe as a treat one day, watch movies as your break. You're still listening to English, but you're kind of giving yourself a break. Okay? Yes, but Sarah, not everybody's like you. Some people might find 6 hours a day too much work and then lose interest.
Teacher,
hold on, I'm not finished answering my question. Hold on. Please. I love it. You guys are eager, but I've got to do justice to the questions. I need to answer them properly. So, again, take classes where you can improve your pronunciation and where you can do a lot of conversation. Because it's that conversation that you need. Pick topics you like. Like I said, I try to spend half my class at least where you guys are talking. And in my not small conversation, in my small talk class, I like you guys to talk directly to each other instead of me. Okay, next question. Actually, before I go to the next question, Ahmed, you've been too quiet.
Yes, because I was writing down some notes.
Good, that's excellent, but I want you to speak too.
Well, I am here.
I know.
Yes.
So what do you think? Anything you agree with or disagree with?
Yes, I do agree. But I personally, I might memorize some sentences instead of individual or single words.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we've got what we call certain sentences we're always going to ask, such as, how was your day?
Yeah.
What's the weather like?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want for dinner?
Yeah.
Memorizing these sentences is good, but the more you practice, Ahmed, you're going to find you don't need to memorize sentences anymore. It's just going to come naturally.
Yeah, I see.
And that's part of where the grammar kicks in. That thing that we hate, what you're going to notice is you spend a little bit of time on grammar, it'll improve how you communicate. Then forget grammar. Focus on pronunciation, conversation, and then go back and take some more grammar. And you're going to find that each time you take grammar, it's going to improve how you communicate. I teach grammar, but I don't teach a lot of it. Things I like to teach are conditionals. That sort of stuff, because what students find really important now, I've got a couple of French students in the class, and French and English are very similar in terms of grammar. English and Chinese, completely different in grammar. And I took so much grammar in French that sometimes I only know the French pronunciation for what I would say in English. But for example, when we're talking about things that happened in the past and continue up to the present, that's important. When we're talking about something that's happening in the now, or could be happening a little bit in the past or in the future, that's also important. The subtleties of being able to talk about things that happened in the future, or the likelihood that something will happen in the future, that's where grammar is important. Like, what is the difference between I have been studying English since 6, or I started studying English at age 6? Right? If you're an intermediate student, you might not know the difference, but there's a subtlety that's important. Yes, question.
Teacher, you can explain how I can use words to express a contradiction, for example, however, in contrast, on the other hand, although, all those words.
I think what you're talking about, so let's not think of contradictions so much, but I think you're asking how can I better use words such as however, although, furthermore.
Furthermore, also. Transitions words.
Yeah, but these are special transitional words. Okay, it's like the word but. Whenever you hear the word but, you think it's not good.
Contradiction.
So let me give you an example. Let me think here. Nobody else has questions. Give me a minute. Tomorrow, the weather looks great. But. Okay? Sounds good, but here's a but. But I have to work tomorrow, so we can't go to the park. Okay? Quite often we hear a but after something positive, usually something negative is going to happen. Now let me change and use a different word instead of but. The weather looks great tomorrow. It's going to be sunny and warm. However, I have to work. The Bank of Canada has kept interest rates at 0 for the past 2 years. However, retail sales have increased. Therefore, we believe the bank will raise interest rates. Okay, so that's a lot there.
For writing that, you need to use some punctuation marks.
You do.
I wanna know how to use those punctuations in the
I'm
words that you
not going to
said.
get into that now because that turns it into a grammar class, and there's a lot more to it. Yes, you do have to use commas and other punctuation with however, furthermore, therefore, though, but that's where I'd really need to do a separate class. Remember, today we were supposed to be focusing on presentations, so I don't, with 9 minutes left to go, I don't have time to go into a full grammar lesson.
Only
As much
you,
as I love grammar.
you can only write it for seeing.
No, but it's not just, I don't want to just give you the answer. And Randy says he's going to go mad at too many grammar questions. Honestly, guys, it's not within scope of this lesson.
But
So respectfully, I'm going to have to step away from that.
I think it is not grammar. You use those words every time you speak, and you.
What
Yes,
about
but you asked me a grammar question, and I respectfully said
okay.
I don't have enough time to get into a full grammar.
What about treat the file in Google Drive?
Sorry, what about what?
Reading the file in Google Drive. You make sharing.
Yeah, so
You want me right? Agreed?
hold on. What I've always done, guys, is in all my classes, I open up Google Drive, and I make my Hangout notes open to everybody. Usually everything I discuss, my lesson plan, I paste in there. You guys are more than welcome to copy it, to use it however you like.
Yeah.
I have no rights to it. So what I've done today is all the things about public speaking that you should do, such as know what you're talking about, know your audience, treat your audience as your friends, use of pausing, knowing your content, not standing still, moving around, using hand gestures.
And voice.
Yeah, all this is in there. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so we got about 7 minutes left. Let's see.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one way to improve our English and learn something about how to create a good speech is some talks. I watched some of them on the internet 1 month ago, and I found them quite interesting. They are called I don't know, TED Talks.
Yeah, I was just writing that as you said.
Yeah.
Okay. TED Talks.
I love them because you can see the subtitles in English, of course, and I think it's very, very, very awesome.
Well, let me caution you, and I do have a class where I talk about ways you can improve. TED Talks is excellent. There are many podcasts that are excellent. Documentaries are excellent. All these sources use proper grammar, speak with a standard English dialect, so it's easier to understand, and speak at a higher grade level. Okay? However, avoid using subtitles. Okay, I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute, I thought subtitles are good. Well, they're not. Let me explain, and then let me know if you agree.
Okay.
When we turn subtitles on, we read. We don't listen as much. I know this is true with myself. My wife is Chinese, so quite often I will have subtitles on in English. I find myself reading them and spending less time paying attention to what is on TV in terms of the moving pictures or what they're saying. You see, reading is easy. We can see it right there. when we start reading, there's no dialect, there's no accent. We're not having to listen anymore. So what do I recommend? Well, this is what I recommend. Turn off the subtitles. Watch the TV show, the podcast, or the lecture, whatever you're listening to or watching, without the subtitles first. Then, if you have trouble, go back and watch it again with the subtitles on. It's harder, but you will learn better with the subtitles off than with them on. You'll be surprised at how much you will understand. Most of you here today speak a Romance language. Not all of you, Sarah, Ahmed.
Me?
But Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, they all come from the same tree, and English, because it has a lot of French influence, has a lot of those similar words. So there's very similar meanings as well. And you can get an idea of what's being said. What do you think?
Okay. I see your point. I'll do it. I consider good advice. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell it to you if I didn't think it was going to work, but I do it myself. I always have subtitles on because it helps with my wife. But all too often I turn them off because I find I'm spending my time reading them instead of just watching the TV. And when I watch a Chinese movie with English subtitles, I find that I'm reading the movie and I'm spending very little time watching what's going on. So I miss out. But boy, Chinese is very difficult.
Yeah,
Very different kind of language, so
I guess.
yeah. Well, guys, we've only got 2 minutes left. I want to start by saying thank you for each and every one of you for coming to my class. If you can come on time, it really helps because then we can do some introductions, some small talk, and I can get you acquainted with what we need to know for the class, such as where I keep my study materials that you guys have free access to. In 1 hour, I have another class starting. The class is game class. Yep, it's about games. Yes, we play games. Hangman, 20 questions. The focus on this class is, well, there's a couple of focuses, but the first is you guys have to ask questions that give a yes or no answer. In 20 questions, I think of a word such as flask or computer. And the only way you guys can guess it is by asking me questions such as, is it man-made? You have to understand the questions other students ask. You have to write the answers to the questions in Google Drive because you can't remember everything. And you've got to do some detective work. It is fun, but it's also work. We also play Guess the Number. I'll pick a number from 1 to, I don't know, 1 billion. And you practice asking questions such as, is it between? Is it less than? So you get practice speaking or saying large numbers. Why would you need to know 600,000 or 350,000? Because in countries like Canada, these are actual family home prices. In Japan, well, they use bigger numbers. Same with China. The US, they also use bigger numbers. Same with Europe. So please, guys, I hope to see you in 1 hour. Class fills up pretty quickly, so either reserve a spot or be there a few minutes early.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. I hope to see you soon.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.